this series of short films on YouTube, we're following farm business Tegethoff Agrar from Saxony-Anhalt in Germany throughout the farming year. In part 1, at the end of March, we brought you coverage of the spring work on this family farm. This was followed by part 2, which covered the farm's summer activities with a focus on the grain harvest. In this extensive third part of the series, we've arrived in the autumn to report on the sugar beet harvest. To top it off, we have quite an exclusive highlight for you, so stay tuned. We start off with the tillage work and preparations for sowing winter wheat. On this filming trip, it's the end of September, and the farm has recently taken delivery of 2 new Fendt 1050 Varios. This one has only done a few hours so far for Tegethoff. A glance into the cab reveals the high-tech workspace in this large 517 horsepower tractor. Depending on the task at hand, or the driver's preference, the control panels and even the screens can be individually adjusted and arranged. Having a digital connection to the office and being able to prepare jobs digitally opens up lots of new opportunities for farmers. The tractor is pulling an Allrounder Profiline from Köckerling here. The farm first acquired a 9-metre version of this seedbed cultivator back in 2009. They had such a positive experience and found the implement so versatile that they decided to trade it in for the 12-metre version in 2021. The machine covers up to 3,000 hectares per year, with the lion's share being covered in autumn. It's a powerful implement that certainly puts the pulling tractor to the test when the crossboard is down. As the name suggests, the Allrounder Profiline can be used for many different purposes, but at Tegethoff Agrar it's mostly used to create fine tilth seedbeds. They have a long history of working with Köckerling here. It was an 8-bar precision cultivator, the Vario, that got them into this Westphalian manufacturer some 20 years ago. The preceding crop on this field was canola, which is now being followed on by winter wheat. Follow on is certainly the key phrase here, because they take a phased approach to drilling on this farm. The 12-metre wide seed drill is not equipped with any extra tools at the front and will achieve a well-prepared seedbed here in just a few hours. By the time evening comes, Philip Tegethoff has been out driving the Horsch Lieb self-propelled sprayer for quite some time. His Labrador, Lottie, has been keeping him company. He's applying a herbicide to the wheat in wide strips, and it should be the only herbicide application this crop needs. The self-propelled machine has a working width of 36 metres and is said to cover up to 30% more ground than a trailed machine due to its agility and speed. The business still owns some trailed sprayers too. But now for some beet harvesting. During the 2022 season, they had a total of 420 hectares to harvest across 13 fields. The sugar factory, Pfeiffer and Lange, in the town of Jörn, assigns farmers early, mid-season and late delivery dates. The delivery date dictates the harvest date, which ideally should be just a few days before delivery. This is because, unlike cereals, beets are expected to increase in yield up to the point they are harvested. Burkhard Tegethoff takes care of planning and coordinating the sugar beet harvest. This also involves thinking about where the beet harvester will spend the night shift. You definitely don't want this big machine having to open up winding headlands in the dark. Depending on the harvesting conditions, the 700 plus horsepower Roper Tiger 6 can cover around 25 hectares in one 24-hour period. The team is happy with this season's yields. Although they varied between 70 and 110 tonnes per hectare, they averaged out at 85 tonnes, which is well above the regional average. The farm managers are convinced that the farm's newly acquired drilling equipment we showed you in part 1 of this series, along with their mechanical approach to crop maintenance, have played a role in this fantastic result. Tegethoff Agrar works with 3 different agricultural contractors for the sugar beet harvest. Not only does this spread the risk, it also has the advantage of giving them access to different harvesting equipment. For example, they're trying out these 2 Grimmer Maxtrons for harvesting shorter fields because they have a smaller bunker than the roper we just showed you. Their aim is to tackle the harvest without using any transfer vehicles at all, if possible. Tegethoff lifted a total of around 35,000 tonnes of sugar beet from the ground during the 2022 season. If you were to tip that all into one clamp, the clamp would need to be 4 or 5 kilometres long. The transport vehicles have a lot to shift too. Their work is also coordinated by the sugar factory. Here's one of the beet loaders in operation on a neighbouring farm. The Roper Mouse belongs to a haulage company that also has wagons going back and forth between the clamp and the factory. Each wagon can carry around 25 tonnes, and the company can cart up to 500 tonnes of sugar beet to the factory every hour. This figure can fluctuate a lot, however, depending on changes in location, manoeuvring work and waiting times for the next wagon. During the harvest season, drivers work in shifts to operate the Roper Mouse 24/7. When winter is approaching, the clamps are covered with fleece. We follow the trucks to the Pfeiffer and Langen sugar factory in Könen. It's only 25 kilometres from Tegethoff Agrar. The factory was opened in 1993 and sources around 90% of its sugar beet from Saxony-Anhalt. This represents around 30,000 hectares of farmland. Up to 40 wagons an hour offload into the factory's enormous collection yard. This is where Tegethoff Agrar's sugar beet is taken too. The resulting sugar ends up in places like food shops as granulated sugar, for example. Now back to the fields at Tegethoff Agrar. The soil they farm on here is very varied and ranges from sandy soil to heavy clay. So the soil values range from 30 to 100 points on the German scale. The German fertilizer application ordinance stipulates that soil samples must be taken at least every 6 years. In addition to the legally required basic nutrient analyses, Tegethoff Agrar also takes spot samples each year to determine things like the trace element content and N-min value, which indicates the amount of available nitrogen. They take the samples after the grain harvest in summer, or sometimes in winter. For farm manager Philip, it's a simple process that doesn't require much effort on his part. The samples are planned on a computer using a field catalogue from Next Farming. All the field work they carry out on this 3,350 hectare farm is documented in this software program. Once they've taken the samples, they are sent to an accredited laboratory for analysis. The results are sent back to the farm digitally via the Next Farming farm management software, which they've been using here at Tegethoff Agrar since 2020. The results can then be individually processed by the software and used to calculate nutrient requirements. As we saw in part 1, the findings enable the team to cultivate the fields section-specifically using a very targeted, sophisticated and resource-efficient approach. When it comes to applying nutrients, they tend to use more organic manure on this farm. They've seen good results from using composted grass clippings for the basic dressing they apply every 3 years. The compost is produced from garden and park waste and provides high phosphorus and potash contents, while also increasing the soil humus content. 90% of Tegethoff Agrar's farmland is situated within a 5-kilometre radius of the farmyard. That means it's not unusual for the weather conditions to differ quite considerably across the roughly 150 parcels of land they farm overall. They have 7 of their own weather stations to enable them to plan activities such as plant protection as well as they possibly can. The equipment also automatically generates forecasts on disease pressure. On the farm machinery front, the team was also able to organise a very exclusive demonstration in autumn, in conjunction with the Steiger dealership and class. We are one of the first film crews to catch a glimpse of one of these extremely rare 25th anniversary limited edition Zerions. And to top it off, we are seeing it in action on the field. Each year, Claas builds around 400 Zerions in its factory in Halle, England. A few have recently left the production line with a retro look to celebrate the 25th anniversary of this specialist tractor. The paintwork and stickers remind us of the old school Zerions that were around in the 90s. Philip Tegethoff grabs the opportunity to test out this high-powered beast by using it to pull his 12-metre Köckerling Allrounder. He doesn't want to rule out making any changes to his fleet in the future. The contrast between the Zerion 5000 and his 1050 Vario is certainly impressive. This picture was posted on Tegethoff Agrar's Instagram page a few weeks ago. And that brings us to the end of this extensive and exciting 3-part film series on farm business Tegethoff Agrar in Saxony-Anhalt. We've reported on all their most important fieldwork and given an insight into their fleet and how they manage the business. We'd like to take this opportunity to thank the Tegethoff family and our project partner, Köckerling Farm Machinery Manufacturers, for their openness and support. Please let us know what you thought of this film series in the comments, and look out for more short films from us soon.